Welcome to this May edition of the CHGO Red Stars Podcast, presented by Coors Light, the official domestic beer partner of Chicago Fire FC. Chicago, choose chill. Go to CoorsLight.com/CHGO Soccer to get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. I'm Alex Campbell, glad to be back with you again to discuss a Chicago soccer team that does at least score goals and win occasionally, although things have not maybe been as bright in this last month. So we're going to discuss if they've maybe dimmed a bit, if this is just kind of the mean, what any of it means, so to speak. And to do that with me is a guy who's familiar to CHGO Fire watchers and listeners, Joe Chatz, here today to talk Red Stars. Joe, great to have you on a slightly different podcast.
I'm always flattered to be asked, so just thrilled. The Red Stars are actually worth talking about right now, so it's fun.
Yeah, even for better and worse. I mean, There are negative things about this team, but they're at least worth discussion and interesting. We're going to start with the games. There's been 5 of them. Schedule is getting very busy since the last time we met. Did not start well. Started with back-to-back home losses. An 0-2 loss against Portland, in which Sophia Smith scored a brace and absolutely cooked Tatum Milazzo in the process.
Do we have to talk about that?
No, we're moving on.
I wasn't there.
They then lost 4-2 to the Washington Spirit, a game in which Tatum was benched because of how badly she had gotten cooked by Sophia Smith. Then Trinity Rodman proceeded to cook the entire Red Stars defense. Anyway,
she's so fast. Her first step. It's just so fun to see in person. Go to a Washington Spirit game when they play the Red Stars.
The Washington Spirit's theory at this point is just defense is overrated. We will simply outscore you. 4-2. Croy Bethune, who has already wrapped up the Rookie of the Year award, which I can't remember. Again, we were kind of discussing eligibility for this before the show. If Shohei Ohtani was eligible for Rookie of the Year, he's the answer to this question. But other than that, I can't remember somebody who had Rookie of the Year in an American Professional Sports League wrapped up this quickly, because it's over already. It's going to be Croy Bethune.
She's so good, so fast, so quick, and just clearly plays with a level of understanding of the game that's so much higher than everybody else. And to be able to integrate yourself in that talented of a squad as a rookie after playing college soccer, 3 goals, 7 assists already, it's crazy to watch. She could have been a Red Star, but they made the right trade overall for what they needed. But she is a fun player to watch, and just the idea of her, Ulia Madasar, Trinity Rodman, Ashley Hatch together, it's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, the first couple weeks, it's like Ashley Hatch playing kind of out on the left wing. Yep. What's that about? Well, their coach, he's not there yet, but their coach is Jonathan Giraldez from Barcelona.
Good pronunciation.
Yeah, so he is Barcelona classic. He is. I mean, he's a Pep Guardiola disciple. He has made the Barcelona women's team just a complete freaking juggernaut. And it's like, to make a old men's soccer reference, Ashley Hatch is kind of being asked to do the David Villa thing of you're going to start wide left, but really as the play develops, you're going to slowly make those cutting runs toward the middle. But no, Bethune has been really awesome. Also, Brittany Radcliffe, who's just a squad player for them, scored a goal of the season contender late in this game that for the state of the soccer game did not matter at all, but was just awesome anyway. Alyssa Nair, no chance. Schlegel and Nesbitt with goals late. Leilani's first as a pro, so that's fun. Again, did not mean anything for this game. But I think what we saw from these 2 games, Joe, was that oftentimes if the Red Stars get punched first, they struggle to punch back.
100%, especially once a team goes against them and gets a goal. When you're trying to play counterattacking soccer, you're allowed to drop back more, and it's going to open more things for the opponent's counterattack, and it really, really hurt them when you're playing against top-class teams that have played with each other, sans Croy Bethune, of course, but you've got a new back line, you've got new midfield pairings. These are the types of games against the top of the league that the Red Stars are going to struggle in all year, especially if they go down early.
Another name that you just mentioned their defense. I forgot to add this. I'll be honest, at the top of the show, the big headline today is that Sam Staub is in the U.S. Women's National Team squad. Finally, Spirit fans were clamoring for that forever, and it never happened, and it's now just taken a really poorly timed center back injury crisis for her to finally get a call. The reason I remembered is because a surprise call-up, the most surprise call-up of that roster, was Washington Spirit midfielder Hal Hirschfeld, who is fully on the roster. Croy Bethune, just a training player, which, if you're wondering how is that possible, it's because the U.S. Women's National Team are blessed with way too many attacking midfielders. Yeah. We just have too many of those, and the depth chart at the number 6 and number 8 positions is non-existent. Yep. Hirschfeld has been very good studying next to and under Andy Sullivan this year. The other comparison I was going to make for a lot of reasons is Croy Bethune is women's soccer Anthony Edwards. Went to Georgia, which is not one of the premier schools for the sport the person plays, thus was not the big, of the names coming out, Ali Sentnor from UNC, number 1 overall pick, was like the crowned, this is going to be the person. And then they come into the league, take the entire place by storm, and it's like, wait, why weren't we paying more attention to them before? And it's like, because their team was good, but not good enough for us to care about how good they were. But the people who know women's soccer in college knew, when the discussion came around that Sam Staub trade, initially it was like, Washington Spirit, what are you doing? And then they drafted Bethune, and people who follow college women's soccer closely were like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was the right trade for both teams. In reality, the Red Stars needed a starting center back who is healthy. At the Tierna Davidson experience, she's so good, but her biggest issue has been staying on the pitch. Sam Staub is a top-level center back whose best skill is being able to stay on the pitch. So in hindsight, this trade will kind of hurt because Croy Bethune is so good, but you can understand why the Red Stars needed to make that trade, and it's paying dividends for them as well, just maybe not as shiny as Croy Bethune tearing up the league.
Yeah, Sam Staub's been very good for them. Made her 100th consecutive start the other day. This is a woman who, she technically only has 3 Iron Woman seasons. I would say she basically has 4 because the other one is she missed the first game of a season 4 years ago and then played the remaining 27 of them and didn't miss any. So I'm still counting that. So she's going for basically a 5th consecutive season without missing a match, which is just totally insane. Moving on, the Red Stars go on the road where they're weirdly better than they are at home. They actually, I believe for this last match they had at home, this didn't work, but we'll get to that in a minute. It did work for the home match. They stayed in a hotel near the stadium the night before because, or at least they've been joking about doing that maybe because of how much better they are on the road. 2-1 win at Bay FC. Bay FC without a bunch of their star players, no Castellanos, no Asiato Shwala in this game. Bay FC did still manage to take an early lead in this game because the Red Stars came out flat, but then Penelope Hocking, Ali Schlegel, they get goals.
Wait. We're going to skip by how they took the lead. Alyssa Nair kicked the ball into Tess Bodie, and it bounces back into the net. That's not a footnote. That was insane. I feel for Alyssa, but it was hilarious.
Yeah, this was a big time. Hey, you can't let Bay FC score on you without any of their star players. And technically mission accomplished because this should have been credited as an own goal to Nair. It's not how it works. Nope. But yeah. So, but good to see them bounce back because again, we've seen a lot of games where things like this happen and they kind of turtle. Hocking, Schlegel, they get the win. The Red Stars continue to be good on the road, bad at home. But then, Joe, we talk about you got to win a game where Bay FC is without all their star players.
Yep.
If you're playing the certified worst team in the league at home, you got to get that dub. And they did that 3-1 versus the Utah Royals, who are just a bad soccer team. Yeah,
they're not fun to watch.
No, and it's the person I feel bad for on that team is the aforementioned Ali Sentner, who might actually be the most talented rookie in this class, but she went number 1 out of North Carolina for a reason. But she has no help on that team whatsoever and has scored a couple of golazos anyway. Yep. She's had moments despite having absolutely zero help, but you look at where this team is. One of the few bright spots was Amani Dorsey, who came in from Gotham, who then immediately got hurt. Things are not good there. Jenna Bike with an early header. Great assist by Mal Swanson. Swanson scores a PK after a really bad one earlier in the week. Penelope Hawking scores very late for her second goal in 2 games. Speaking of bangers, it's the only goals Utah scores. Cam Tucker got it in this game. Briefly made it interesting before Hawking finished it off. That's the best I think we've seen, though, of Mal Swanson, Joe, was that 3-1 Utah win. She was in complete control of that match.
It's good to see her when you're going against a lower level NWSL backline, as she was, even all respect to Kate Delfava, Kenosha's finest. But she just had a different level of control that game. The game was open. Utah doesn't really have an identity right now other than mediocrity. Amy Rodriguez's team just isn't that good, and she's a good coach, but, you know, this is a tough thing to do. This league screams about their parity. Well, that means it's going to be tough for expansion sides, and the Red Stars at least are doing their job against these expansion sides, which of course now leaves them up to play Bay FC one more time, but at Wrigley, and the Bay FC to play spoiler. But they've done the job against the mediocre teams, and that's when you need talent a la Mal Swanson to take over.
Yeah, and she takes over in this game. But, of course, the thing we really have to talk about from this game is Alyssa Nair got hurt, and that's real bad. The comical goal against Bay FC aside, Alyssa's importance to this team, as any Red Stars fan knows, is so beyond her goalkeeping, her soccer abilities. For one, it's about her communication. With a back line that's still kind of being pieced together and still gelling with Staub, Kuika, and Rawl all being brand new there. So that's, she's been crucial for that. Leadership, she's the oldest player on this team by, I believe, over 4 years. And if you have to go, it's like she's like 7 or 8 years older than the second oldest player on this team because it's her, Shea Groom, and then no one.
Yeah, Maxie Rawls in there too. So I
think Rawls like 29 or 30. So I think that would put her third. Okay, so I forgot that. But then after that, it's all like Mal Swanson at 26 is like the 5th oldest person on this team.
Yeah, I don't want to bring up anybody who might be older, but we love you still.
Yeah. So losing Nair really sucks. Yeah. We do have a graphic to compare the options for those of you watching on YouTube that the Red Stars have. We have Mackenzie Wood and we have Sydney Schneider. Both young, 23 and 24 respectively, both decently tall, both taller than Nate.
Taller than us.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I mean, there's. Yeah. I was gonna say. I mean, they're shorter than me. I'm not gonna speak for myself, but you can't speak for everybody in the room. Mackenzie Wood out of Notre Dame, so somebody who's been a highly touted prospect for a long time. Yep. Sydney Schneider's career has been a more circuitous route. Went to UNC Wilmington, represents Jamaica at international level through her grandparents. Does have this interesting combo. Mackenzie Wood has played 2 NWSL games, the last 2. Sydney Schneider is on her 3rd NWSL team and has played 0 games, but she has played 18 games for Jamaica because she has been the number 1 at a World Cup.
Yeah, she's played multiple games in the 2019 Women's World Cup. It's kind of bonkers that she's the 3rd keeper. But Lauren Donaldson, when I asked him about it last week, said we see value in her. He almost wants to be able to loan her out. Maybe if she doesn't play that much, USL Super League could be an option for her at the end of the year. But Mackenzie,
if Nair's once Nair's back healthy,
100%. But Mackenzie Wood was the number 3 last year. Gets loaned to Stade de Reims. Sorry if I mispronounce it.
Can't say that team's name.
Yeah, whatever. She was the number 2. Only played in cup matches. Didn't have much involvement. Did pretty well in those cup matches. I think one of them, they were both in PKs. She made a save in the first one in PKs. I don't think she had to do anything in the field. Second game, they lose in PKs. It was a bit of an upset, but she did enough to prove that they wanted to call her back on loan early once that cup run was over. They didn't feel that they needed to bring someone else in. Erin McKinney, who was the NRI invite, is now, I believe, on Gotham, but I could be wrong. She might have gotten cut in the last few weeks.
Yeah, they have like 6 goalkeepers.
Yeah, there's so many. And now that Berger's there, now that I'm thinking about it, oh my God, what a player. But
more on her in a moment.
Yeah, the Red Stars have options. They're young. It depends on the length of Nair's injury because we're about to enter a transfer window with what they do. But so far, it's not like Mackenzie Wood has shown she's not up to the job. She just might not be world class at this point because she's 23.
Yeah, and Sydney Schneider did play a bit last year. She was playing, though, in the Czech Republic for Sparta Prague. But she was playing on a consistent
12 games.
She was the number 1 for half a season on a team in Europe, so that's nothing. In terms of news on Nair's injury, we don't have anything yet other than what Lauren Donaldson told us midweek last week, which was that she wasn't going to play in Gotham this weekend. That proved to be the case. That proved to be the case. Keep an eye out this week for a press conference with the U.S. Women's National Team, who announced a roster today. Emma Hayes is certainly going to be asked about it, and I would imagine we'll have some sort of an update. We have one more game, that most recent one, that we will talk about in a moment. But first, a word from Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades that are built to last from our friends at Shady Rays, because they have you covered with premium polarized shades that will not break the bank. They're an independent sunglasses company. They offer a world-class product, over 300,000 satisfied customers, including yours truly, and many of us here at CHGO. Their frames are durable, crystal clear optics, just as good as those other brands that cost 4 or 5 times as much. They're a perfect choice for all of your outdoor summer adventures. Hundreds of styles to choose from, so no matter what you look for in a pair of sunglasses, Shady Rays will have a pair fit for you. Again, when they were a sponsor last year, I took advantage of the great deal they offered our listeners. Was really pleased. Going to definitely have to go back on the Shady Rays website.
That's wearing mine today.
And take another look. Yeah, I actually meant to bring mine in here. They're actually sitting about 15 feet that way, so that's my bad.
I can see them. They're there.
Yeah. I do lose them often, though, so thank you for having eyes on them, gotcha. Joe. Also, if your shades ever go missing, like they do for me sometimes, or they take an unexpected hit, they get damaged when you're out on one of those outdoor adventures I just mentioned, don't sweat it. Shady Rays have an amazing protection plan. It's the best in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by a lost or broken replacement guarantee. Also, if you don't love your shades, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them worry-free within 30 days, so there's no risk when you shop. There's no risk when you wear them. Shady Rays has your back. Exclusively to all our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code CHGO for 35% off all polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades, rated 5 stars by over 300,000 very satisfied customers. CHGO Red Stars, also brought to you by CD1 Price Cleaners. They are so different than whatever you're experienced before if you have not used them and you're paying maybe way too much for dry cleaning. You're paying too much, waiting too long, not getting what you want. It's not always clear communication. None of that's going to be a problem if you switch to CD1 Price Cleaners, where you could save over 30% on your dry cleaning bill. And you can go beyond dry cleaning as well. Wash and fold laundry, big stuff, blankets, comforters. They do leather cleaning. They will do tailoring and alterations. They take sports jerseys, and every item is that same CD1 low price. You don't have to wait endless days on end or get told sometime later this week your order will be ready. You can have your order back to you, sometimes even same day. Whenever your order is ready, you can set up text alerts so you know when it's time to pick up your order. Visit chgo.cd1.com. That's chgo.cdone.com. The link is in our YouTube description. And once there, you can pick from an in-store coupon or online pickup and delivery coupon options. All right, Joe, one more game to go to. That is the most recent one. Chicago Red Stars 1, Gotham FC 2. And I think this game kind of displayed kind of where the Red Stars are limited. Lynn Williams gets a record-breaking goal. She is now the all-time leading scorer in NWSL all competition history, passing former Red Star Sam Kerr, also kind of former Gotham RIP, but not really to Sky Blue FC.
Sky Blue.
Penelope Hawking scores on a set-piece scramble, and this is a drum Joe and I have been beating for a while. Put Sam Staub in the damn box on set pieces.
Thank you. Thank you. She is a force everywhere on the pitch. She can do it all. Yeah, she has a lethal left foot, but so does Mal Swanson, Julia Bianchi. Give Sam an opportunity to score, do something.
Sam is the tallest player on the team and is very physical.
Yeah.
Actually, she might be second tallest to Rawl.
I think Maxi Rawl's a tall one.
Rawl might have her beat by a little bit, but still. Also, always have Maxi Rawl up there on these as well.
Oh, yeah.
Staub wins this header. It's a scramble. Hawking slams it home. The biggest thing is, why is Staub taking corners? Mal Swanson takes corners for the national team.
Yep. And I still think it should be Julia Bianchi, frankly, so you have Mal Swanson on the outside try to clean things up because, she's going to score a banger at some point. But
that would require Julia Bianchi to be playing, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, Julia. But we don't really have an understanding as to why Lauren Donaldson feels such a need to have Staub up there, just because it takes away from what makes her great in the zone and in the attacking area. Yeah, the long throws are great.
Long throws are cool.
But other than that, there's really no point because when you have her and Ali Schlegel up there, there's so much for defenders to have to deal with that someone's going to come unmarked.
Also, Mal is obviously an attacking threat, but, like, Mal ain't winning any headers.
No.
That's not...
No.
She is world-class at many things.
Yeah.
Being tall and jumping is not one of them. So it's 1-1. Looks like it's going to be a good road draw. Yep. And then, of course, here comes karma to absolutely slap you in the face. Ella Stevens, stoppage time winner, kisses the badge. This sucks.
Yeah.
And although we do have to mention that her first involvement on the field was getting just... shoulder shrugged to the ground by Tatum Milazzo. So that was fun for the laughs and for the discourse. But then Ella Stevens just dunks on the Red Stars at the end, celebrates wildly.
Yeah.
I know. I was making the score graphic for you, and I saw the photos of her kissing the badge. I'm like, I'm not putting that on the photo.
No.
I do like though how there was a score graphic. It was Tatum looking very happy though, and it's like, and I believe my thought was Tatum's secret internal monologue when that goal goes in that she's not allowed to express while her team has just lost the game. So that's too bad. But just the Red Stars, the Gotham kind of beat them at their own game here. Gotham's the slowest paced team in the NWSL. It's not close. Like, if you think the Red Stars don't move the ball forward quickly, there have been only going into this game, Gotham had only had 12 goals total in their games. They don't score. They don't get scored on. That's probably now going to change because their kind of Monstars lineup is finally getting healthy. This was Rose Lavelle's first start of the season. So it's... For Gotham's opponents, it's not about to get any more fun to play them.
But you need a team to root against, and they are a great team to root against because they have all these great players, and they've been brought together. You get a new coach, all about it, and it's a good team to root against, and they're really good. Jenna Neiswanger absolutely tore the Red Stars apart from her left back spot. She had the feed on both goals. I don't think she got the hockey assist on the first, but the second one, a perfect pass to Stevens at the far post. It's really cool to see a team like that show what they can do against a Red Stars team that usually wants to play counterattacking football, and it showed how much the Red Stars still have to do and what they might need to bring into the squad over the summer.
Yeah, because if you look at the options that when Gotham gets the ball and they want to go forward, if you look at the options they have, you've got Neiswanger at left back. The Red Stars don't have Rawl likes to get forward, but she doesn't have the same kind of passing range that Jen Neiswanger is featuring. Neiswanger also will kind of... invert and underlap into the midfield as well. They've got Emily Sonnet playing in their back line, who's kind of a trained midfielder, so she's got a passing range. When healthy, they have Tierna Davidson, another excellent passing center back that Red Stars fans know quite well. And then you've got, when healthy, again, that's the caveat to this team. They're getting there, but you've got Crystal Dunn and Rose Lavelle in your midfield. And then you've got Lynn Williams going forward.
Crystal Dunn forward, question mark?
According to the U.S. Women's National Team roster, now she is. Again, if you're a fan of the men's national team, you know never to take those things very seriously. But I think, if nothing else, you know what? Emma Hayes giving women's national team fans a little bit of fan service. And if you're trying to get a new fan base on side as a new coach, I'm here for it. I do... Now, of course, if they go out and they play games in a couple weeks and Crystal Dunn starts at left back, there will be lots of people very mad. But you know what? Let everybody have their happiness while the Crystal Dunn is listed as a forward. And, I think people are level-headed enough that as much as Ella Stevens scoring in this game sucks, she's finding her role in Gotham. She as this kind of target, hold-up, number 9 type. And, she's been so good. Saw a couple of people make this comment. They're having to force Spanish international Esther Gonzalez to find somewhere else to play. They've been playing Esther as an 8 a little bit, which they're not going to be able to do that anymore because Lavelle is back. Although the way they did it in this game is they played Rose Lavelle as a nominal right winger. They've got a lot of talent on that team. They'll figure it out. They'll be fine.
Yeah, Stevens was a restricted free agent. Everyone could have had an opportunity to bring her in. She shows that when she's maybe not the center of your forward attacking squad, she's a great option off the bench, but if you give her good service, she will score. We talked about it enough last year with the Red Stars. They just couldn't get the ball forward, so she had zero chance of succeeding.
Before we we got a lot of other notes I want to get to here. A few players we haven't really talked about. We talked about Sam Staub. She's continued to be excellent. Gets rewarded with the USWNT call-up. Even though it's not really showed up on the stat sheet, Leilani Nesbitt has made back-to-back starts, the rookie. and she's looked very, very solid. Lauren Donaldson called her a pit bull, and that seems to be pretty accurate with the way she just kind of charges around in the midfield and will break up play. And that was really evident in this Gotham game. They wanted to progress the ball through midfield, and she just wasn't having it.
Yeah, and it makes sense when you think that they did trade to get this pick. Obviously, Aaron Wright wanted to move to Louisville. She'll be back this weekend. Ooh, that'll be fun. But Leilani clearly has this edge that the squad has been lacking, and her energy, it's a positive energy, but it's a go-to-work energy as well. And when you can have that type of person in the midfield, it creates just a little bit of hesitancy for any attacker going against her, because while she hasn't yet, she will put in a hard tackle if she feels you're getting too comfortable. And that's the type of defensive midfielder who can work into the attack that I want. She can go box to box. It's really great. And early nominee for Fun Personality of the Year, a really good individual who just loves playing soccer. And she's going to be getting a lot of international caps as well with Bermuda coming up. But that's going to be something else. She's going to be playing like central attacking forward somehow. And we'll see how that goes. But she is a really fun player to watch, and you can understand why it might take her a minute or two to get into the lineup. Not everyone's Croy Bethune in their rookie year, but a couple years from now, this could be the best pick in the draft.
Yeah, no, she's got the potential. She's been playing in that pivot with Carrie Riccaro, but I think you and I would both like to see, at least tried out from the start, a Julia Bianchi, Leilani Nesbitt double pivot. For among other reasons that Bianchi gives you a passing range that neither Nesbitt or Riccaro really has. And ball progression's been a problem for the Red Stars this season. Bianchi, other than Swanson, was arguably the team's best player last season, and it's just been very odd to see her be so absent.
I was having this thought last night because she's out of contract after this year, and I wouldn't blame her if she wants to go play in Europe or somewhere that can give her a better chance of making Brazil's squad going forward, because she's kind of on the edge of Brazil's roster right now. Mm-hmm. Is she the type of player who scores 25 points a game when your team doesn't make the playoffs, but then is a bench option once your team is actually good at competing, or is at that level? That's kind of where we're at right now. Seeing her playing in an attacking midfield role last week definitely raised an eyebrow or two, and I'm very curious to see if maybe she just doesn't fit in this new squad. She obviously has talents. If I were in the NWSL and my team, someone in my midfield got hurt and I see she's not playing much, I think she's a great trade option. Mm-hmm. But Carrie Riccaro has made better progressive passes this year. She's really been trying to go over the top a lot more, especially when Allie Schlegel and Jenna Bike are on the pitch. But Julia's ability to be direct is great, and I think they're leaving something on the bench.
On the bench.
Yeah, not on the pitch.
Well, you mentioned earlier also her set piece delivery abilities, and if you're going to play like the Red Stars are playing, which is kind of this sit back and counter team, you kind of need to be good at set pieces, so she helps you maximize that as well. A couple attacking notes. Penelope Hawking now has goals in 3 straight games. But how much of this, Joe, and we'll tie this to Mal Swanson, how much of this is Hawking, playing really well, and how much of this is Mal Swanson has just kind of vanished in a lot of games because teams are finding ways to eliminate her, and thus that creates more room for people like Schlegel and for Hawking?
When you're only 10 games into the season, I don't think you can have to, worry about how Mal's doing long-term, the numbers, whatever, because you're seeing Allie Schlegel and Penelope Hawking already equal their goal-scoring total from their rookie year. So that's creating spaces for them that they simply didn't have last year. And Jenna Bike, she's come from a barely getting on the bench role last year to being one of the better attacking wingers in the NWSL through 10 games. Mm-hmm. These are all things that are created by someone having to mark Mal Swanson and someone also having to keep an extra eye on Mal Swanson. So whether her numbers are great or otherwise, whatever, when Allie Schlegel and Penelope Hawking are playing like this, that is why you need a Mal Swanson in your lineup. Now, Penelope Hawking is the beneficiary of it, but she's also been playing in a more attacking, central attacking role, which she always did at Penn State and USC. So you can understand why it's all kind of coming together at this point. And I don't know about you. She's got she's a player with an edge that I really enjoy watching. So having her in that attacking, quadrant with those 4 players is really good because she brings an extra edge that maybe Schlegel, Bike, and Swanson don't have.
Yeah, and what we've seen, and I think this is part of why it's been easier for Swanson to get isolated. She's been more, if we think of it as a 4-4-2, Swanson's been more often in like that left mid, left wing position with Hocking and Schlegel being the 2 up front. And so the question really is, how do the Red Stars get Mal Swanson more involved? I mean, I think the long-term solution to that question is you need somebody who's a little bit more of a creator in the team. It's probably going to have to be a move that's made in the summer, unless Shea Groom really can establish herself. She didn't even make the bench in this last game, was not on the injury report either. Again, she's coming off an ACL injury, which at age 31 is very tough. It's tough anytime, but as you get older, those don't get easier to come back from. I think the Red Stars thought that Shea Groom was going to be that midfield attack connector piece whose job was going to be just get the ball to Mal. And now they don't really have somebody in the get the ball to Mal role. Anytime Mal does get the ball, it's dangerous and good things happen. They just need to find a way to get her more reps. That's what we've got on the Red Stars for the day. We are going to have a few quick comments about news and notes around the NWSL. But first, a reminder once again that CHGO Red Stars is brought to you by Coors Light. Between work, social media, difficult choices in life, there are so many times when you just got to choose to chill. You got to take a big deep breath. You got to sit back. You got to relax. And when you choose to chill, reach for the Rocky Mountain Cold, refreshment of Coors Light. Goodness knows that around these parts in Chicago sports and here at CHGO, our teams have frustrated us to no end in recent times, and we've had to really make an effort, it feels like at times, and I'm sure if you're a Chicago sports fan at home, you have too. Sometimes it takes effort to choose to step away, to choose to chill, and when you make that choice, Coors Light is there. Coors Light is Rocky Mountain cold refreshment that is cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged for a smoother finish. When those mountains turn blue, Coors Light is as cold as the Rockies. When you embrace a chill mindset, that's a good time to choose Coors Light and choose to chill. Crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies. Make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/CHGO Goal. That's CoorsLight.com/CHGO Goal. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Also, a word from our friends at Ray Chevrolet. Make Ray Chevrolet your first draft pick for your new Chevy this May. Visit our partners at Ray Chevy to shop their Memorial Day sales event going on all month long at Ray Chevy on Route 12 in Fox Lake and at RayChevrolet.com. As one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories. Plus, you can find the perfect tailgate vehicle. Right now, get $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2024 Chevrolet Silverado, or lease the new 2024 Chevy Trax for only $199 a month for 36 months. Or you can celebrate Memorial Day your way and shop over 125 of their vehicles that are priced under $20,000. If you've heard of Ray Chevrolet, you've probably heard of Ray's Price Promise, which is their guarantee to make your next vehicle more affordable than ever with no price changing, no add-ons, no hidden fees ever. That means incredible prices, and we're talking about those in this ad right now, and you can expect to see the very same prices that I mentioned when you shop in store or online. This is not just some tease to get you in the door. Shop the Memorial Day sales event all month long by visiting Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or RayChevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive. All right, Joe, let's go around the NWSL quickly here as we round out this show. And I think we have to start, of course, at the top of the table. There is one team in the league that hasn't lost yet through 10 games, 7 wins, 3 draws. The Orlando Pride are an absolute juggernaut. Every team in the world who could have afforded to do so at some point in the last 3 years is right now kicking themselves for not signing Barbara Banda. She has 6 goals in 6 games, plus 2 assists, just got here. Burst onto the scene at the Tokyo Olympics a few years ago by scoring a hat trick in a lopsided loss to the Netherlands. No worries about how many goals the Netherlands scored in that game. Not important for this story here. Zambia scored 3. They were all Barbara Banda. She ended up in China, of all places, and then Orlando Pride do the work to get her out of there, get her to the NWSL, and just, she's been unbelievable and is must watch.
must watch, unbelievable. When you're playing against Marta with Marta, everything's easier, and it's another stark reminder of how quickly great talent can change everything for your squad. And she's so good. It's unfair that she's just able to do everything she is so quickly, so easily adjusting to a new league. Playing in Orlando is not easy by any means.
Brutal.
It's only going to get worse. So it's really remarkable the way that team is performing, just considering all the moving parts they've had. They've got injuries with Caroline. There's just so much going on in that team, and they're acting like nothing went wrong.
No, they're just motoring through the league right now. Meanwhile, also motoring along with the Kansas City Current, they cannot stop scoring. 25 goals in 10 games. That is best in the league. Their XG differential, according to FBref, is 11.3 through 10 games. So they are, on average, expected to win every game by more than one goal. That is just absolutely absurd. They're just blazing through people. Have they allowed 15 goals? Yes, that's not great, but their games are must-watch as well. They are so entertaining, filling up that new stadium every week down in Kansas City. That's been fun to see. And then Team Joe that we mentioned earlier, that the Red Stars were part of them getting right. After the first 3 weeks where everybody was panicking, the Portland Thorns are fine. Yeah. They fired their coach, gave them a new role in the organization, and poof, magically everything got better. They had that bumpy start. They have now won 5 straight. Sophia Smith has 8 goals. It's just kind of there's almost like a class is permanent thing here at the Portland Thorns. They have an inertia as a team that no matter how things can be rough on or even off the field with that organization sometimes, the team on the field just keeps destroying people.
They keep destroying people. It's a pain to get to Portland in the first place to have to play them. It is a team that's always been good, but when you have Sophia Smith playing the way she is, at the confidence level she is, alongside some of the players she is, Olivia Moultrie, there's so many young, talented players on this team, while you also have Becky Sauerbrunn in the back line. This is one of those teams that, even when things are going bad, if they're on the road in the playoffs, no one's going to want to face them because they can get a result against anybody.
And then
Sam Coffey's there. Sorry.
Yeah, also Sam Coffey. Yeah, but you mentioned Sauerbrunn. Christine Sinclair's still there. Just the veteran leadership that team has they've got it all kind of working there. There are, as we alluded to earlier, Joe, there's a lot of bad teams. Yeah. The bottom 4 is really clearly defined. I kind of think like the top half of the table isn't going to really change the rest of the year. Like if you told me that the current top 6 is the top 6 at the end of the season, I would believe that pretty easily. San Diego right on the bubble, Angel City right below them. But Utah, Seattle, Houston, Bay FC, they are all their own form of car crashes. I think Bay FC is the most likely to figure it out because they've got an attack that's real good that maybe they can structurally figure some things out defensively. But, there are some really bad teams. Utah is not surprising. Houston's a mess.
Yep.
Seattle struggling. It's so, again, if you're the Red Stars or if you're those teams above them in the table, the directive is simple. You've got to beat these teams, especially now when they continue to struggle.
100%. Bay FC have the ability to score goals, so all you have to do is just not be terrible offensively, and you should be
defensively.
Well, both, honestly, because they give up goals, so you might as well, you might have to win 5-4 against them. So those things happen, but Utah, it stinks. It's an expansion team, but good luck getting players to want to go to play in Sandy, Utah. It is not an easy place to sell. And
it's not even, it's in the suburbs of Salt Lake City, but it's not even in Salt Lake City proper.
But the best part of living there is something you're contractually not allowed to do between the hiking and the water rafting and all that. So all of that, I just think it could be disastrous, especially on the domestic recruiting side. But Seattle could figure things out, I think. They have the ability, they have the talent, they're adjusting from the Rapinoe leaving, but Ji Soo-yun is so good. She scored one of the best goals you'll ever see when they played the Red Stars.
But they're still recovering from a bit of a talent drain. Lavelle, Sonnet, etc. Alana Cook has been injured and has not been what she was beforehand. A lot is being asked of Bethany Balser. Yeah. Jordan Heitema is hurt again. Again, there are issues there, but and Houston. I feel bad for soccer fans in Houston. There are some parallels to soccer fans here in Chicago with what they've had to go through with their teams, but things are tough there. Your star player in Maria Sanchez forces her way out of the team and now just joins San Diego, a team that should be better.
Yeah, they'll be
than
fine.
They are. But yeah, so it's the bottom end of the table is kind of what it is. Red Stars, in their upcoming schedule, do have a couple opportunities to get more points on the board and bounce back from that loss to Gotham. They host Racing Louisville on Sunday, kind of a fight in the mid-table.
Saturday,
you're right, at 6:30 p.m. And then the following, 2 weeks from that Saturday, big one, big one, Wrigley Field, June 8th, against Bay FC. We haven't gotten a ticket update in a while. I think the last one we got was about a week or so ago, and it was 19,000. So let's get that number. Let's get that number going. Let's get 25K out there at Wrigley Field for that game. Hopefully, it's a beautiful afternoon.
upper deck is open. I'd rather sit in the upper deck than some of these people behind home plate. I don't know who sold you what, but you are going to have terrible sight lines behind home plate.
Soccer seating is weird. Why are the most expensive seats the one closest to the field?
You want elevated seats.
The main level. It doesn't make any sense.
It's like hockey. You being up top is not a bad thing for this game.
The Red Stars then go on a 3-game road trip. They'll hit Kansas City, North Carolina, and San Diego before coming back home against the Houston Dash before that summer tournament with Liga MX in the weeks following. So again, that is Racing Louisville on Saturday, and then a week off, international break time, and then it's Bay FC at Wrigley Field. That is going to do it for this episode of CHGO Red Stars. Hopefully, those games are wins, and we'll be able to talk about those next time. Hopefully, the Red Stars can continue to look very strong on the road as they continue to build in year one of this brand new era, not just for head coach Lauren Donaldson, but for the Red Stars organization. And hopefully that game against Bay FC at Wrigley is kind of a celebration of that newness, and they can put on a good show for everybody turning out for that one.
Oh, yeah.
Lawrence, behind the scenes, thank you so much as always.
That's what the best, man. We appreciate it.
Joe Chatz here talking Red Stars for a change instead of fire. We'll see you back here in some capacity again, I'm sure, this season.
Hopefully I'm not a curse for the Red Stars, too.
Yeah, I mean, well, if a losing streak ensues here, knock on wood, well,
It's my fault.
we know who to blame. Thank you so much for watching on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening wherever you get your podcasts. I am Alex Campbell, and I'll see you next time.
We all silly like the mayor.